Hey, everybody, you may have heard by now because we announced this on social media, but on September 24th, we are doing a live show at Flappers in LA. Technically Burbank, though, right, Paige?
Yes, LA adjacent with better parking and good food.
Apparently they have good food. Mikey's promised to eat pasta on stage.
Or
And
wings.
or wings.
Whatever you guys
Or
want.
wings.
I want wings for sure.
Or pasta-covered wings.
What about wing-covered pasta? You know what? We can workshop this later.
We'll figure it out.
Okay. But please, I've never been out that west. I'm excited about it.
You can buy tickets on Flappers' website through their calendar for the 24th in September. Or if you want to go the link directly through the link, we'll be posting it on social media because it is flapperscomedy.com/shows/the-horror-version.
I saw the URL as you were saying it, and I already added it to our link tree type service. So if you go to any of our social media and click on that link that we are allowed to have in our bio of social media, you'll see live show tickets is the very first thing. Just click on that. It'll take you right to it.
And we'll be periodically posting it on social media so that you can catch it and see it. So watch all of our social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, etc. for links to buy tickets. There are a limited amount of tickets. This is slightly bigger than live shows we've done in the past, but we do still have a limited amount. So I would recommend buying them early and making plans. Also, it is at 5 p.m. on a Sunday. We did that so that if you had to drive from out of town, you might still have time to drive back in time for Monday the next day at work.
Boom. So come see us September 24th at Flappers in LA. It's going to be awesome. And yes, Mikey will be there.
Yes.
The star.
All right, let's get into the episode. This episode was brought to you by the following patrons: Jay's Pack, Sexcalibur Bones a Lot, James, Madeline, Sunzi, Vixen, Holly, Natasha, Laura, Boezy, Jeremy, Ali, Jennifer with a PH, Mr. Ragebomb, Libby, West, Dreskel, Aaron, Kristen, Tia, Lauren, Jonathan, Kate, Isaac, and Karoon. And all the patrons want you to know you're loved, you're listened to, and if you want to hang out with us, do so in the Facebook group where we hang out daily.
It's Thing Light. It's Diet Thing.
Diet Thing. Half the calories. More Robocop.
Until they ran out of money and they're like, just land the helicopter on top of the ocean.
So when that helicopter landed, I literally said, "Who's flying this thing, Hoagie?"
Thank you for tuning into Horror Virgin. I'm Paige.
I'm Mikey.
And I'm your horror virgin, Todd, which means I don't like scary movies, but you guys make me watch them. And this week, Mikey finally made us watch
Leviathan.
Oh, right.
Yes.
Leviathan.
Paige, it is Ocean the Thing, and I'm here for that.
Slash aliens.
There is some aliens. You're right. But I love the Thing.
And I love Alien.
Throw in a little Robocop and we got a hit. Spoiler alert, it wasn't, but
it was not a hit.
No.
We'll talk about it.
But think about, they got some talent. Top tier acting talent in this film.
Ernie Hudson, Robocop. Hector Elizondo, the guy from Home Alone.
Marv from Home Alone, yeah.
A couple of jump scares got me.
Which one of the jump scares got you, Mikey?
When the eel thing came.
That one super got me. Yeah. Another one got me. I can't remember exactly which one it was, though, because a lot of them were the same, where it was like the creature like jumping out, but it made me laugh because the one that made
they got little tiny mouths.
Yeah, that's the one that made me jump though. So I was scared, and then I was like, oh, I guess Tim Burton did the creature design because it looks like
teethers.
Yeah, anyway, it made me laugh, but it did scare me again.
Just so you know, creature design was Stan Winston. We'll talk about it
I didn't really think it was Tim Burton, but it looks like Nightmare Before Christmas in nature.
Yeah, this movie was in color. I don't know. Yeah.
Making Fishmas.
So, Mikey, I have to say this. I understand fully how you got this confused with Deep Star 6. Like,
I do too, because it's in Fun Facts.
Oh, okay. But like, Mikey, this is the way better movie. You were right.
I told you.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. And I wasn't on the Deep Star 6 episode. So.
I texted them this morning. Listen, I'm talking to the listeners, I guess.
Yeah.
I was like, this film is Citizen Kane compared to Deep Star 6.
And it is, yes. There's a reason no one's heard of Deep Star 6, and there's a reason a few people have heard of Leviathan.
A few.
You know what I'm saying?
You know what? I'll burn a fun fact right now. And there are not a ton of fun facts, or a lot of them are very boring. But one of the fun facts is this movie is part of a collection of films that, you know, sometimes when like one movie comes out, a bunch of other movies like it come out. So it's like, hey, a space movie. There's a bunch of other space movies.
Mm-hmm.
This was a bunch of underwater horror movies in 1989. They all came out in 89. The first one was Deep Star 6.
Abyss ripoffs?
Yes, and they are Abyss ripoffs so it's Deep Star 6, The Abyss, Leviathan, The Evil Below, and Lords of the Deep, and The Rift, also titled Endless Descent, which comes out in 1990. But none of them, except for The Abyss, are box office hits. So there you go.
But The Abyss is like so good. I
The
love
Abyss
that movie.
is good.
Yeah.
Oh,
Except
so
for the
good.
end. The end is nonsense. It needs this ending.
You need to watch the expanded edition of
I
The
have,
Abyss.
Mikey. It doesn't fix anything for me.
It does.
It's still bullshit.
So I have a very serious question about the end of this film, and that is, why were the sharks there? Like, that is the
them up.
definition of a hat
It's
on a
their
hat.
home. You can't show up to a shark's house and be like, why is the shark home?
Okay, you know what? That's fair, I suppose. Like, they're asking, why are these humans here? I mean, they're not trying to eat them, so...
Yeah, we didn't invite them. Did you invite the humans? I don't even have any appetizers.
Talk about a bad day. I was like,
You know, that famous line that everyone on the USS Indianapolis said.
That's what it felt like for a hot second. I was like, oh no, they dropped off the bomb and now karma has come. Yeah,
I know.
you know.
I mean, I don't even know why they blew the escape bubbles if they could just float up in the suits. The whole ending is nonsense for the last 5 minutes.
Because they would all die of the bends.
Well, even if it's a magical technology suit, why even have escape bubbles if your suits can do it too? It doesn't. None of the
I'm
makes
sorry. Did you say escape buttholes?
No, he said escape bubbles,
Okay.
which is extra weird. So there's a language barrier in the making of this film.
Between Mikey and the world? Yes, there is.
No, between the American crew working on the effects and the American actors and the director and production staff, because this was filmed largely in Rome. And so there are some things like escape bubbles instead of like escape pod.
Yes.
Which is like we would normally say escape pod or escape ship. Instead
liked
it's
bubbles.
escape bubbles.
I thought it was
Bubbles.
cute. Yeah, it was adorable.
Yeah, to burn another fun fact, I'm not going to have any left by the end, but Stan Winston said there was such a language barrier in making the film that when he goes back through his notes, because he keeps notes on all the films that he's worked on and all the things that he ordered and everything, so that there's a record of what they used.
Yeah.
If they want to use it movie to movie, you know, for a different movie or whatever. And a bunch of his notes, he says in this one, are just doodles, like nuts and bolts.
Yeah.
And like pieces of fabric and stuff. Because he had to just like point and show people. So there you go.
That is
I
awesome.
love that.
I love the De Laurentiis sort of, listen, we'll shoot it in Italy, save a few $1 million on the budget, and it'll be fine. And it never is fine. And I love that. Like, all of his movies feel a little campy unintentionally, and I
Yes.
love it.
Okay. Besides the third act, I do think the first and second act somewhat
Are
work.
Alien and The Thing, because that's what they are.
But I love a good good ripoff. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I
It
was
is
like,
a good ripoff.
and I was like, okay, and I was like, I'm here for this ripoff.
I will say, because it's De Laurentiis, and so like, and it's not Dino De Laurentiis, it's other members of the De Laurentiis family, but same company. The second I saw the De Laurentiis name, started looking for crazy cost-cutting measures, and because this is basically the Orca to Alien and the Things' Jaws, and
Yes.
It is. Yes. Like, if Abyss is Jaws, this
Yes.
is Orca for that universe.
This is Orca for that universe. But there are so many things, and I kept them in my notes where I'm like, that's a pool noodle.
Yeah.
Just weird stuff that they did, like to cut corners to try and make the effects work, especially early in the film, and I was dying.
I love the pacing because it's like the film wants us to think it's been a long time because the doctor writes his thing and shoots the escape bubbles up. And like I felt like 15 minutes later, they were like, well, the doctor's dead and he sent a message up. Let me undo that message. And they're like, sorry, we've already, like, it feels like up there it's been 4 days. Like, it just seems like the film takes place in an afternoon. I feel like the original Alien, you really get a sense of how long this takes and how bad things are going. And I just felt like at one point in the second act, it was like, all right, 4 people are dead. There's only 3 of us left. We got to run around this whole thing in a circle for a long time.
Yeah,
right.
But that takes 2 days, question mark?
Yeah.
Like, you have no idea how long that time period is. No, I completely agree, Mikey. It's like, it feels disjointed, right?
Because, like, he, like, they're like, oh, 7 days ago when we got your message, we already did the stock release where they're dead and stuff. And I was like, I felt like that was 20 minutes ago. Which one is it?
Right.
With your giant flamethrowers that you don't need underwater.
True. Well, it's just because Aliens had flamethrowers.
I know.
I did love that, like, he walks through what is essentially a waterfall because the thing's falling apart. So, like, it's leaking and stuff. And he walks through it with the flamethrower. And, of course, that puts out the pilot light on the flamethrower. And then he tries to shoot it and he goes, it's jammed. That's not what that is. It's not jammed. You walked through water and it turned the pilot light out, you idiot.
It's jammed with water, bro.
I'll do you one better. I will do you one better because they have crazy future chainsaws underwater.
Oh,
and
my
I was
God.
like, oh, it's going to be a chainsaw fight. But then...
The triangle chainsaws were my favorite, Paige. I was like...
Well, especially because they couldn't work. They only use them once and it jams immediately. But my favorite is that as they're handing out all of the like flamethrower, chainsaw, one of them just gets a tree trimmer.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's just been painted.
Yeah.
But it's clearly just a tree trimmer. And I laughed for 20 minutes. We never see someone try to use it, but they're holding it and they turn it on so the teeth run and they're just like, I was like, man, that guy's gonna kill some shrubs. Like, what is happening
Did
here?
you say it was Sam Winston's notes they did this from? Or they like...
Stan Winston worked on this movie. He just kept extensive notes.
Well, the reason I bring that up is because, like, a lot of the weapons in this look a lot like you took an 8-year-old to a hardware store and then took him out after 20 minutes and said, draw everything you remember seeing. And then they made all of those the weapons in this movie.
That's so accurate. That's so insanely accurate, Todd.
I will say, like, I think Sam Winston did a good job because I think to get close to thing level effects on the bodies and stuff.
Close.
The monster at the end, we get really close, and wisely
the
they
end
never
is
shoot it dead on.
ridiculous. Yeah.
Well, it's got the head of an anglerfish, and I'm like, those are terrifying.
It looks like the creature of the Black Lagoon to me at the end.
A little bit.
I was like, is it not absorbing the people? Yeah.
Well, because it's got an anglerfish head and then like a man body with big hands, but then it's just got like a face on the side that's just like, kill me. And you're like, wow.
Yeah, that's DeJesus.
This needed another revision, I think. But the anglerfish part is scary as shit.
Mm-hmm.
So like that part, but then you see the rest of it and you're like, oh no, nope. No, why did it have to walk around?
Just throw some sharks in there. It'll be fine.
For no reason.
Why they don't like my sharks?
They're like, hey, we got like 8 days before they blow up SeaWorld. Do you guys want to get some shots in it before it blows up? Sorry.
Yeah.
Like, that's the vibe of those shots.
Well, they did film almost all of this on sound stages and in tanks. Very little of it is filmed actually underwater at all. And for the stuff that was, a lot of it was filmed just with divers that took stuff down, not with any actors. So they really are working hard to make it look like it's underwater, but it's really not.
Oh, I find that so easy to believe, but
same.
it also is convincing. Like, it does look like it might be underwater.
Yeah, no, I think it does a serviceable, it's a good B movie.
It does.
I agree.
It does. Given that they probably had very little money, it was filmed with crews that did not understand each other, and it's a ripoff of 2 groundbreaking, fantastic films. I think all that considered, it is very good for what it is. I think if you like The Thing, I think if you like Alien, this is in your wheelhouse.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
And you will like it.
Yes.
And I think maybe not as many people know about it. And so that's kind of cool to be like, hey, this is a thing you would like. you might not have heard it before.
Like, hey man, do you want a campy underwater like The Thing / Aliens movie? This is it. You're gonna love this movie. Yeah.
This is the Wet Bandits origin story.
Mikey, if you don't think I wrote at least 3 jokes that feature the words Wet Bandits, you're insane. I love that Marv is in this movie. I knew he was going to be the first to die, largely because he's pretty much just a sex pest as a personality
pretty annoying.
trait.
Yeah,
but
they're like, no one will miss him.
Yeah, no, and no one really did, but he's great in this movie, and I love seeing him.
I mean, I was waiting, A, for him to be hit in the face with a paint can, and B, for the doctor to turn out to be an android. And I was real bummed when that didn't happen. But I do like that they like tiptoe around this basically being underwater alien until the end when they're just like, yeah, chest bursters. Everybody gets chest bursters. We're not even hiding it anymore.
They do kind of throw it in at the end. But thank God Peter Weller's character played college ball so he could hit that free throw and then really save the world.
When he did that, like, Kobe, like into the into the alien's mouth, or not alien, but the creature's mouth. I lost my shit.
What did he say? Chew on this? No, what did you know? He didn't say chew.
No, I wrote it down. Hold on.
I think I wrote it down too. Hang on, I'll check my notes.
Choke on this, bitch.
No, it's way worse than that. He says, "Ha, motherfucker."
Oh no, he says, "Say motherfucker." That's what he said. That's what he said.
The fade from downtown.
And he does literally, it's a fade away from downtown. Game day bucket go boom. Alien explodes or whatever. It's amazing.
And then he puts his lights. And then the Coast Guard is just like, man, what a rescue.
Okay, I thought for sure that the Coast Guard was going to let that helicopter with Ernie Hudson, who has been attacked by the monster who is now infected. He is infected.
Oh, I mean, he's dead too. He's like just floating down, right?
No. They drag him into the helicopter.
Mistake, guys. That's a mistake.
Right?
Oof.
And so, yes, they did with his life vest on. They drag him by the life vest. So then when the helicopter takes off, I was like, are they just going to ground to air missile and shoot that thing down? Like, what are we going to do? Is it going to just crash because he turned in the helicopter?
But wait, we see them get on the ship, right?
They do. So the two of them get off. He stays on. He never gets off the helicopter.
Well, because he's dead.
Or at least being airlifted to a hospital. She's on the helicopter. He swims back out to get Ernie Hudson. He throws the dynamite. It blows him back. And then we see him drag Ernie Hudson on a cable by his life vest to the helicopter, and then they help him into the helicopter. But there's either A, no way he survived, or B, even if he did, he's infected.
Oh.
Kill the helicopter.
I mean,
like,
he's
what are we
definitely
doing?
infected. We saw Cobb get infected from just a scratch. So he's definitely infected. Yeah. Wild. I must have missed that part because I was like, oh, it sort of doesn't have a downer ending, which, like, The Thing I love, but sort of has a downer ending. And then this does. I just missed it, I guess.
In my headcanon, they're taking him away so the company can test him.
Sure.
And try to weaponize, much like Wayland Yutani has attempted to do.
Yeah, of course they're going to try and weaponize it.
In my headcanon, the world ends.
I mean, eventually.
Yeah.
But could this creature survive out of water?
Are we paying for our hubris of science? No, I don't think it could, Mikey. I think it is designed to live in the depths. But that's why I was surprised when it came up to the surface with them, because I was like, it's designed to live in the deep. So, like, why would it come up? But also, this is just more like we shouldn't fucking go in the ocean.
Fully agree with that sentiment, Paige. Never go into the ocean. If I learned anything this month, it's that. And we're only 2 movies deep on it. But
I know.
Guys, you can go into the ocean. I've thrown water bottles in there, global warming. All of the stuff is dying. It's safe for us now.
No, it's a mystery and always will be because we don't know what's down there. We can't even see everything. We don't even know fully how deep it is.
I think we probably do.
I bet Mikey could find out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I just go for the sides.
I think you mispronounced cervix.
What do you guys think happened to that Titanic sub? This is exactly what happened.
Okay, so fun fact, 2 miles down is very close to where Ocean Gate imploded. So like,
Yeah.
it's roughly 330 atmospheres, which is like 4,800 pounds of pressure per square inch.
Well, and these people are 16,000 feet deep, which is actually closer to 3 miles.
Yeah.
Oh, they said 2 miles early in the movie, so I wrote that down. But
They get the title
in the
card
beginning.
said
It's right
in the beginning.
oh shit, yeah, I was probably writing a note and missed that title card. But yeah,
It was quick. It was
if
quick.
It was 1600 down, then that's a little bit further than when they imploded.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like that implosion would have been way faster, is what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah.
And how did the creature survive the implosion? Because it was still in the building, right?
Well, that if you think there's only one.
Oh
No,
shit, Paige!
it's the first one that they put out the dock. It's a different creature.
Okay. Honestly, that makes perfect
Because
sense.
the guy whose face, the only face in it, is the guy and the girl. No, that doesn't make sense.
Here's my headcanon that to me made sense.
Okay.
In the thing, we establish that every cell is connected to the whole, right? That's why the
Yes.
blood test works, right?
Yeah.
But also, the thing can infect multiple people at the same time. We know it did. We saw it in the movie. Very much that is the case here. Cobb gets infected. De Jesus gets infected. The other two get merged and eaten and whatever.
Yeah.
So, like, I feel like if it's an organism like that, then any configuration could be it. And they do establish that it can survive high pressure and it regenerates. So if it has regenerative abilities, there are multiple of them down there now, and any one of them could have been the giant anglerfish head one, which would make one hell of a hush puppy head, that comes out of the water to attack them. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Yeah, nailed it. I think that perfectly explains it. Yeah.
I believe it.
My only fear, and guys, go with me on this, is that the Lachey's will see this movie and be like, oh, I have a great idea for another reality competition love show. And that's where we take 10 singles and put them 2 miles under the water and then release one thing-like creature. See who survives on this season of Love Shack.
It's not toxic enough.
Yeah, we need the creature to be like the Bachelor who's trying to find love.
Still not toxic enough. Like,
Well, it could really use a touch of what The Abyss has, which is like undersea madness with Kyle Reese. And that's pretty fun.
we've put 10 singles down there. They've all dated each other in some form or capacity before. They're all connected by some way. And there's
Like perfect match.
and there's one STD on board, and they have a season to figure it out.
They have a season to fuck it out. You know?
But like who to follow the phone tree and figure it out?
I am gifted at building really toxic Skinner boxes.
Yes. I love that I had my comedic premise was this could be a Lachey's locking people underground with something that will kill them for our entertainment is like a Lachey's level reality show. And you guys were like, no, actually, if they got a hold of it, it'd be way worse than that, Todd.
Yeah, that sounds like Running Man. Lachey's form of
Lachey
torture.
Wutani has
Yeah.
other plans.
It's more emotional, and like you gotta hurt yourself. He doesn't have anyone hurt you. He wants you to hurt you.
Show me on this kaiju where Nick Lachey hurt you. There is a kaiju at the end of this film. This is just a Godzilla prequel.
Here for that, 100%. So, have we yet talked about whether we liked this movie or not? Like, have we given the first thoughts?
Not really. Mikey, go.
I 100% love this movie.
Yeah, same.
Because it is it's like a Mikey movie version of movies that I like. And there's something charming about it. I can't put my finger on it.
I can. Do you want me to try? Mikey, this is the movie 11-year-old Mikey would have explained to me over chocolate milk after just watching The Thing and Alien at a sleepover. Like, that is this movie, and I love it. I love that about it.
And it's a Mikey movie. The actors took it real serious.
Serious.
Everybody took it serious. And like, even if they look dumb, the ending just falls apart in the worst way. But
how dare you? The ending is my favorite part.
A lot of this movie doesn't make a ton of sense in ways that like aliens, and The Thing are grounded a little bit more in a created reality that makes a little bit more sense. There's a lot more world building so that you understand what's going on.
Yeah, Paige, I don't really think they can do video calls 2 miles under the ocean. Yeah.
With just a remote.
They're 3 miles underwater to get silver. That's the mineral they picked out.
And that silver, air quotes, is just glitter in a tube.
Well, guys, I don't know if you know this, but Tri-Oceanic is actually owned and operated by Yukon Cornelius.
Right.
So he's super into silver and gold.
Yeah, Yukon Cornelius, the CEO of Wayland Yutani.
Tri-Oceanic is a glitter company, and the best glitter you get from the source.
Yes. If you want good glitter, you get it from the ocean. I do like this. I do like it a lot. I don't love it because I do see the flaws, but it is one of those ones, like, I just went out and told Jake after I was done, I was like, it's definitely worth a watch, especially if you like Alien and The Thing.
Yeah.
You're going to sit through it and be like, oh, I've seen this movie before.
This is like a silly take on my favorite movies.
Yeah, exactly. But then as you kind of go along, you're like, well, what's going to happen? Oh, the same thing? Okay, cool. And then the end happens and you're like, what? All right.
I mean, if you're watching this and you're not like, why are the sharks here at the end? You're insane.
That's not... Why are the sharks here? Why is the best Foley second only to the teapot in Insidious 2 in this movie? Yeah. Pung. When he punches the lady from the company. It's just like
such a good
sound effect that comes on the CD, just like whapash. Just like
I will say this, that's Robocop. I believe he can punch that hard while walking.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That line that Ernie Hudson delivers to the CEO when they're talking to her on video chat where she's like, you've survived hell. Bitch, we're still in hell.
Bitch, we're still here. I was like, that's right, Ernie Hudson.
Yeah.
The company's trying to kill him, and he's like, welcome to the union. I was like, he's my favorite character, obviously.
Oh, yeah. I love that their union boss was down there with them. But, and like, every line is just like, per our contract, that we mandated hours. And I was like, honestly, I love this guy. I'm never going down in the ocean, but could we get him to work for the WGA? Like, what are we doing? Hey, what's he up to?
I doubt he's busy, actually. I mean, they're on strike, too, the actors.
They're on strike also.
He's probably out there with them currently.
Yeah. Womp womp.
Mikey, when you met Ernie Hudson, do you think he was upset because you would only talk about the movie Leviathan with him?
He's like, I was in Ghostbusters, asshole.
Yeah, Ernie, but like Leviathan slaps.
But
I have
Leviathan,
said this story before, but I was so starstruck that I could barely speak.
I love that story. Listen, I love Ernie Hudson, too. But, like, he's not an A-list actor. So the fact that he's the one that you could not talk to is awesome to me.
I also love that they were like, well, we can't get Keith David. Who can we get? Hang on. I just spilled a bunch of stuff.
That's what you get for talking shit about Ernie.
That's fair. I'll be right
trying
back.
to think. Ernie Hudson and Keith David were pretty much in that same role throughout the whole 80s.
They were, but they're both great. Like, I like them a lot. So you guys liked it. Like, it's a good movie, right? I mean, maybe not good, but like worth watching.
It's worth watching. Absolutely.
There's only 3 places in the ship. I still don't know where the doctor was hiding in the beginning.
100%.
Yeah, where the fuck was he?
Yeah, that bothered me for the rest of the film.
Dude, when he walked in and he was like acting like he was some rich, highfalutin douche at a restaurant, I was like, bro, you weren't doing your job and now you're going to act like this? How are you not fired?
Where even was he?
Yes.
Where even was he?
Yeah, I don't know.
They look for him at all the places.
All of the sets.
And they show us all the sets empty without he.
Mm-hmm.
I like that the scary-ass spider creatures were just a normal part of underwater life that you prank each other with.
They were just spider crabs. Yeah.
Hated that.
It was so silly that, like, she put it in his bunk. I would have lost my fucking mind.
No, because he put it there to trick her in one of the suits. Fair is fair.
Fair is fair.
He smelt it and dealt it. Like, you know what? Like, if you can't dish it out, like, if you can dish it out but you can't take it, don't dish it out.
I mean, that's fair, I guess. Fuck Marv.
Yeah.
Well, do you guys want to go through this movie scene by scene?
Yes.
But also, he gets bit on the foot, and that was clearly in his hands the whole time. So I don't know what the hell happened to him.
No, I feel like his foot is because he fell out of his bed.
Yeah, he didn't get bit by that thing to turn into the creature. He drank the stuff that was in the flask.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. But I mean, like, he's like, it bit my foot. And I was like, oh, he fell on it. That makes more sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was dead. We saw her kill it.
It was dead, and it was behind his pillow.
Yeah.
Yeah, Marv's an idiot.
Yeah.
But let's just get into the movie so we can go through it scene by scene.
Let's do it. This movie starts with one lion roar, which got me excited, but then it didn't ever turn into anything. Secondly, it's a De Laurentiis joint. Great. Thirdly, Robocop is in this.
Yeah.
Fourthly, long title, so long that I ate a sandwich. But we cut to the Atlantic Ocean, 16,000 feet deep. Now, fun fact, it's not established well in this movie, but I did find it in Fun Facts. This movie allegedly takes place in 2027.
Oh, okay. So that's why
Okay.
technology is like even advanced by today's standards.
Right. That's why they've got a whole bunch of VCRs around.
Well, I
you
mean,
know.
yeah, but like they can also like video call like from 2-3 miles under the water.
Right. This lives in the Futurama universe.
You can't do that?
Actually, Mikey, you might be able to do that if it's like a hardwired connection. I bet you could.
That's what I'm thinking.
Maybe.
I bet it is a hardwired connection.
They're at what they keep calling a shack. And if you want me to spend any time 3 miles under the ocean, I'm not going to anything called a shack.
Rusted because it's in the ocean.
Because it's in seawater. Yeah, it's definitely
shack,
rusted. Yeah.
Baby love. And there's no love in this shack.
I don't know, man. I feel like
I think there's some love.
Okay, can we talk about it? Do you think Bowman and Six Pack got it on with that flask?
Yes.
I don't think they had sex with
I think
the
so
flask.
too, because when he was like, "You have a nice pair," she's like, "I wanted you to talk about my boobs," and I was like,
Yeah.
"What? What a twist!"
I did find that hard to believe because it's Marv.
Yeah.
Even a broken clock gets laid every now and then.
Even a broken conch gets laid twice a day.
You know what they say? The seaweed is always greener in
It's
somebody
somebody else's
else's lake. They're under the sea, so they gotta take what they get.
I mean, Marv is like a New York 3, but a Shaq 710. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Oh, yeah.
options are slim.
And it's not like Aliens where you've got Space Marines and you've got like a couple options.
right.
Here,
No, it's like Alien 1, where there's like really just one option.
really just one option. Because if somebody wants to teach me how to use a plasma rifle, we can do some talking. What's up?
What's up, young Peter Weller? Show me how to use that flamethrower that you just walked through a waterfall, you idiot.
I don't fuck cops.
A-cab, Robocop.
You don't fuck Robocops?
No, I think that would kill me. I don't feel safe. I don't feel protected or served.
Just what about if he's out of the body and he's just the like crag-like brain spine?
Are you trying to make it better or worse for her?
No, this is because Mikey loves the Borg Queen, who is basically just a Krang with a spine.
Yeah, that's
And
fair.
no, that's your fantasy, sir, not mine.
You could wrap the little brain spine around your
Around what, Mikey? What would I enjoy wrapping things around?
your neck.
Okay, all right, you got me there.
You're coming with me.
Come with me if you want to come.
No, like, Robocop's like, "You're coming with me," but like with
Yeah,
this with the U.
Oh, okay. I get it. My favorite part of the RoboCop porn that I'm sure exists online somewhere is when they like do the gun out of his leg, but instead of a gun, it's just like a dildo. Never mind. I don't know if that exists, but if there has to be a RoboCop parody
If
porn.
you think it's not called Robocock, you are
Oh,
mistaken,
I know.
sir.
But that has to be a shot in it, right? Like you can't make RoboCop without that shot.
Without the cock? Yeah, no, I agree. Now, we find out that the Tri-Oceanic Mining Corp is mining for silver and precious metals, and that's why this whole group of people is down there.
Yes.
We gotta stop there. This company has the bar set low, where they're like 7 C's. No, we're just gonna go for 3, maybe.
Yeah. Like, listen, if we can get 3 of the 7, that's a win in my book, guys.
Yeah. Plus, where exactly do those C's end, right? So, like, you get 3, you might as well have 7. They're all right next to each other.
They end at the sea shore.
Do you think that there's like a quad oceanic mining group that's their competitor? They're just like, they keep beating our silver quotas or whatever.
I do think that, Paige, because that would be all of the 7 C's accounted for.
Yeah.
That's a math joke.
Yep. Accounted for.
Okay, so this movie actually does connect to the Total Recall universe. Because,
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, because in both movies, there's a character with 3 C's. Nailed it.
Oh, open your mind. Mine.
Oh, got it.
The silver mine. Get to mouse. But yeah, 3 tits. Now, the opening where they're like telling us about the Tri-Oceanic Mining Corp, it's just a bunch of pipes and shit going into other shit and glitter floating around. But we find out that they're in this like mining shack and they're on day 87 of a 90-day shift. And I was like, ooh, that's like this movie showing us a picture of like, here's the girl I'm getting back to after the war. It's my last day on the force.
I literally wrote in my notes, I'm getting too old for this shift. Because that's what it feels like. It's like, oh man, this guy's about to retire, so you know he's dead.
Yep. But we cut to their crew mining for silver, and we get some of the very questionable dialogue that this movie has the entire time, where they ask one of their women who work with them, did you trip on a tit? Which, first of all, if your tits are trippable, hey girl, what's up? That's a rare trait.
Well, do they hang low? Do they sag to the flow?
Yeah.
Can you throw them on your shoulder?
Can you throw them over your shoulder? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Maybe that'd be a better choice for that suit if this is a problem in your life. Secondly, she then tells the person who said that to her to suck on a shrimp.
Yes.
And I was like, is this all ocean insults?
Yes. Paige, it's just innuendo based on the environment they are in. It's the best.
It's actually based on Tri-Oceanic's employee handbook. Only ocean-based pun insults are allowed.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
As they're walking back, the guy who was told to suck on a shrimp, six-pack,
Yeah.
he grabs a spider crab and stuffs it in his suit as they walk home. Now, as they're walking home, De Jesus, his rebreather malfunctions, and so he is losing compression and losing air. Allegedly.
He also might just be having a panic attack.
I mean, they show the oxygen indicator, and it is going off. Yeah.
So he comes inside. They drag him inside. The doc's nowhere to be found.
Yeah.
He passes out, but they get him inside where they can take his helmet off in time for him to not die.
It's a long scene where it implies that if he doesn't get inside, he'll implode. I kind of wanted to see an implosion.
Oh, same. I thought for sure they were going to be like carrying the suit back, and then we were just going to see blood splatter the inside of the suit. And I was like, fuck yeah! But then no.
That would have been
that didn't
dope.
happen.
That's what I wanted it to open with, but they only had like 4 people down here, so I was like, okay,
Right.
I guess.
We got to save some of this body count, especially because I guess only 2 survive, but like 3, quote unquote, survive.
Allegedly. Well, I mean, survive, it depends on your definition. Like, those things are maybe alive as part of a bigger fish.
That's fair. There's always a bigger fish, Mikey.
New kaiju. Yeah.
Gesundheit.
They get into you're welcome. They get into the base, and they have a soda machine in the shack, which I thought was fun.
But it does Pepsi.
I mean, but like Paige, they didn't really have a soda machine in the shack.
Yeah, because when Ernie Hudson says, we're still here in hell, I was like, I know. 90 days without a Diet Coke?
Oh my God.
What are we doing?
Only being able to drink Pepsi for 90 days?
This is hell.
If they had Diet Mountain Dew, I could do it.
Oh, in my mind, it was only Pepsi, and I would rather drink my own piss for 90 days than drink a
Jesus
Pepsi.
Christ. Regular Pepsi is like...
That may have been a bit over the top, actually, now that I think about it.
No, that's not over the top. It's like if an alien bled, like let's say that Willy Wonka's factory had alien type creatures. If you cut them open, instead of acid, they would bleed Pepsi, regular Pepsi.
I think regular Pepsi tastes like what is left over after a diabetic does dialysis. It's just like too thick and sweet. Like I can't do it. It's too much.
Yeah, like that's what's in their kidneys or whatever. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
There's no one to say that Pepsi isn't leftover kidney mess.
That's what doctors call it. It's leftover kidney mess.
Well, just PhDs, not real doctors. Pepsi. Oof.
This is a Diet Coke podcast.
All Diet Coke. All the time. But also Diet Dr. Pepper and Diet Mountain Dew.
I'm drinking a Diet Dr. Pepper right now. I had to do a HelloFresh ad alone today.
Why did you tell us? I would have logged in.
I had to turn it in today. It was due.
Paige, it's your turn to do one. Woo! You ever want to know what it smells like when a nuclear bomb goes off in a fruit tree factory farm?
That word salad was my favorite.
Fruit tree factory farm.
You know, your classic FTFFs.
Yeah, Fruit Tree Factory Farms.
Okay, production company name, guys.
Fruit Tree Factory Farms.
We can make wine.
Or podcasts. The thing that we already successfully make for money.
But wine as well.
Why? It's very difficult.
Romancing the Vine.
Mikey is the smartest idiot I've ever met, and I love it so much.
The horror Vinegin.
Paige, Mikey's won me over to his side. We're switching.
Romancing the Sauvignon. Or romancing the Blanc.
Okay, it's a bit out there, but it's a horror-themed title. Attack the Blanc.
Yes.
That's pretty good. That's
Hell
pretty
yeah.
good.
Yeah, get John Boyega on it. All right, let's get back to stuff we can actually use for the episode. Although, for the record, this is the nonsense shit that they want me to leave in.
I know.
And I did. Wink.
Anyway, he opens a Pepsi with his mouth.
Gross.
Gross.
Although, honestly, that's the most enjoyable part of consuming a Pepsi is eating part of the can, more or less. Because Pepsi's gross.
Pepsi, the number one soda for goats.
Pepsi, the red meat substitute.
What?
Because you get iron in your blood.
Yeah.
You want to drink kidney mess?
Do you want to drink the juice out of that sweet, sweet kidneys out of old people who can't process sugars?
Pepsi. Nice cans.
Okay. We're never going to finish recording this episode.
Nothing happens.
What proceeds next is the same scene from Alien when they're all talking about the things that they have to do on the journey.
Yes.
Like they come out of stasis and they're just like, food and business, food and business, food and business.
Well, and then Six Pack's like, I like boobs. Boobs are good at sex. I want to go up and have sex. And everybody's like, oh, Six Pack.
Oh, 6-pack. Sounds more like a 4.5 pack to me.
Mm-hmm. I think it meant that he just drinks a lot, but that's also sad.
He has his reasons.
Yeah, he's stuck in a place that only has Pepsi. That would make me an alcoholic too.
Honestly, I've never had alcohol in my life. I drink the tainted vodka before I drank that fucking Pepsi.
They call me Six Pack because of my DUIs. But we're in international water, so it's okay that I drive this sub.
There are no laws out here, baby.
Anyway, he does talk about that he wants to drink brew and eat pussy. And then Hector Elizondo's like, you'll just end up stuck in traffic. He's like, oh, I don't care where I'm at. Like, as long as it's there.
Yeah, he's like, I'm happy to eat pussy and drink alcohol in traffic.
Look, do the seats lean back? Let's work it out.
Yeah.
I'm here to eat alcohol and drink P-word.
That's almost more accurate.
And by P word, he means Pepsi.
Yeah. I'm glad we were all on the same page.
Yeah, I had to clarify because I didn't want people leaving this conversation thinking you meant piss.
I mean, hey, to each their own, I guess.
God damn it, Mikey. That was a banger, and you fucking didn't hear it at all.
I hate this. I'm having such a fun time.
I can't believe you don't have regular headphones. But for the listeners, Mikey's headphones are broken, and he had to get a bunch of knots out of them and bang
Just took
them
them off
on
and
the
hit
table.
them against the desk, and now they're working. Mikey is the smartest idiot I've ever met, but it worked. So, like, who am I to call you an idiot?
It sounds better than it has all night.
That's because I'm talking and my voice is silky and smooth.
I don't think anyone's described your voice as smooth and or silky.
No, it's usually like cancer-inducing.
Loud and clear. I'll take loud and clear. Clear like Pepsi Clear or what? Crystal Pepsi.
Crystal clear Pepsi, baby.
Like the piss of angels.
Because, you know, there's no toxins in angels, so their pee would be clear.
Right, yeah, you got it. Follow the money. Anyway, so Hector Elizondo goes on to a speech that's like, it's actually better under the sea. Under the sea. My kids aren't on drugs and my wife isn't mean. Under the sea. And you're like, okay.
What he was saying, more or less what you just sang, I was
Thank
like,
you.
this guy must be the morale officer. But he's not. He's just like their union rep.
He's their
I guess.
union rep. And honestly, I love every second of union rep in this because they'll just be like, well, if we move the body, he's like, you can't move a body without authorization. I was like, who had to write that rule down?
I did.
I thought it was great because, like, without the union, when they got back from working that night, they would have been like, hey, you also have to do all this other shit. But they're like,
Right.
no, our union says we don't have to. And he was like, well, what if I give you the day off tomorrow? Will you do it tonight? And they're like, all right, fine. I'll do that in exchange for my day off tomorrow.
Well, apparently that's in the contract because Hector Elizondo brings it up where he's like, if you make them work, then they have to be off tomorrow. And
That's
everyone's
what
like, I'll make that deal.
Yeah, that's why unions rock, baby.
Well, they also have dropped a lot of bodies in their day as well.
Jimmy Hoffa.
Yeah. The thing about organizations, either big or small, is that they usually end up murdering people.
Yeah,
but
for
there's
sure.
a lot of people, so who cares?
I did a roast for the Teamsters one time.
Dear God, and you're still here, okay?
I'm still here. Yeah.
You must have gone light on him.
Yeah. I at one point made a comment that somebody's Hawaiian shirt was so loud that if it was Jimmy Hoffa, we'd all know where he was. And they were like,
nice.
Yeah. And then they threw fake Viagra pills at the stage. That's a real thing. They had candy Viagra pills at that roast. It was fucking wild.
Are you sure it was candy?
No.
Every one of those Teamsters was a tripodster.
Maybe they loved me. It was wild.
Yeah.
Oh, I bet they did.
Yeah, it's all the Viagra.
Yeah, right.
If you crushed it up and snorted it and it tasted like Pepsi, you know it's sugar.
God damn it. Now I have to keep all this sidetrack in for that joke. You son of a bitch.
Hold on. I had a joke from last week that I want to carry on to this week because I was thinking about last week during my week and I came up with a better joke now.
No, that is not.
What?
I am not going to drop in a joke on last week's
October,
episode. Oh, God.
I want to dress up as a candy cane
Okay.
so I can be Michael Caine.
Okay, I'll allow it. I love
Okay.
it. That's
All right,
amazing.
all right.
Anyway, let's get back into it. Taco Bell closes at some point.
I know.
It's only 8:30. I feel like I got another 4 hours of this film in me.
Bear down, guys. It's going to be a long one.
These headphones are working now.
Oh, after beating them off on the table? Yeah.
I'll beat you off. I'll beat you. I'm the one who's going to beach people off.
Mikey's going to the beach for the second time this summer because he didn't beach off enough last vacation. He's taking another one.
His job is beach.
My job is beach.
Yeah.
I do want that job. I know. And everybody's like, isn't it boring to just read on the beach as I order 3 books off of Amazon? I was like, yeah, totally.
Yeah, it's the worst.
Yeah, don't text me.
Hey, when you finish a book, do you throw it in the dunes?
When HR releases a new policy and they're like, go over your staff with this. And I was like, I'm here to lead, not to read. And they did not like that.
Do you want me to take that out or can I leave that in?
You can leave that in.
All right.
It's a Simpsons quote, so it's like universally accepted.
Did you guys want to talk about Leviathan, maybe?
I guess. Fine. Okay, so the doctor comes in and is just like, you have acute Pepsi poisoning. And they're like, where the fuck were you?
He's like, I was coughing. I'm a doctor. They got a big meal, too. That tray was like 2 trays wide.
Yeah. If they had stayed the extra time, they would have never survived because the doctor had eaten all their food.
Well, yeah, because they're eating like probably mush or the equivalent of it. And he walks in and he's like, I'll have the penne alla arrabbiata, please. And you're like, what the fuck? Like, who are you talking to?
He's famous, too. How's that guy famous?
He's been in other movies. Like, he's a famous actor,
an
bro.
actor?
Like, yeah.
He's an actor?
He's the, hey, it's that guy.
No, he's like, isn't he like the $1 Million
Where have I
Man
seen
or
him
something?
before? In movies?
No, I mean, he was in First Blood, Mikey. He's in Rambo.
He's the Colonel.
Yeah, he's Trotman. Yeah. But he's been in a bunch of other shit. Like, he has 120 acting credits. So he's a hey, it's that guy.
It's that guy. But you said that as if it was like, hey, Flo from Progressive, where have I seen her before?
I know. That's what I said. It was hilarious.
No, that can't be it.
Anyway, they're like, where the hell were you? Also, we're working late tonight. And he's like, oh. And Robocop comes in and is like, hey, you're supposed to actually be there. Something bad happened today and somebody is actually hurt. And I need you to check him out. And they're like, all right, fine.
Well, is this when Peter Robo Boss calls up to the surface?
That's next.
Because he's like, the doctor's not cool. And then she's like, yeah, he made a vaccine that killed thousands of children
That's like
or whatever.
3 scenes from now, Mikey.
Okay.
That's a while.
It was a wild aside. I was like, why include that at all?
Yeah, because we cut to like a montage of them doing maintenance where De Jesus is getting checked out by the doctor, which, by the way, the medical bay just has posters on the screens and that don't fit the scale either. It's just like someone was like, we forgot to design things for the medical bay. I don't know. We got these posters at a teacher supply. Just tape them up.
Okay, so it actually does look like it's a basic human anatomy like poster in like a, I don't know, 8th grade science classroom.
Correct.
But they're up on the boxes that the x-rays would be up on.
Right.
So it looks insane.
Well, have you ever been in a doctor's office with like the model of stuff?
It doesn't even look that nice, Mikey.
No, it doesn't. No, but I mean, I've made the joke to the doctor. I was like, it must be bad news if you got to like look at a model before you
3D printed it. Man, how bad was my bowel obstruction?
Well, and then he's like, well, if you take the knee apart, this is the ACL that's broken. And I was like, oh, well, this joke backfired. Just like my knee, I guess.
You're like, oh, shit. I made it easier for you to condescend. My bad.
And he's like, don't worry, I'm just a PhD. You're like, get away from my knee.
No, it was a knee problem, so I couldn't go to a podiatrist.
Yeah, you can't fix an ACL by sucking on toes.
Well, maybe if you just sucked out the crunchiness in your ACL just through the toes. Did you try that? Have you tried things that aren't?
That sounds like a
aren't
pseudoscience
Western
that
medicine?
should exist.
Your over-reliance on Western medicine is disappointing.
You don't practice toe reiki where you just suck out the negative energies that'll heal
I think
you?
it's pronounced Toriki.
Toe reiki.
Yeah.
Welcome to my Turiki hut where I suck the energy out of your toes.
I bet people do that. Sylvester Stallone's mom used to give readings of people's butts. So, like, this doesn't even sound that weird.
This is literally Quentin Tarantino's retirement plan.
Oh, I would let Quentin Tarantino suck on my toes if he would just tell me a story.
He can't tell you a story while he's sucking on your toes.
No,
Paige.
afterwards. Yeah. He thinks while he's sucking on the toes, he thinks about it. And then he pops up and he's like, okay, so two guys open up the trunk of a car. Then they're driving.
No, better. What if he texts it to you while he's sucking on your toes?
I'm here for that too.
This is the strangest fetish I want to see played out in a cinematic way.
Have you guys ever texted someone during sex?
During?
Texting the person you're inside of, Mikey?
No.
Oh,
No, I'm fucking
Mikey.
busy.
Mikey.
I never said I did.
Of course Mikey hasn't done that. So Mikey, if you had, like, hypothetically done that, what's the tea on that situation?
Right, what happened?
I confirmed an appointment.
What?
God damn.
You
really?
couldn't wait? He's like, no, I was finished.
Okay. Oh, I don't know how much I want to go in depth.
You
Welcome to
started
the
this.
ocean.
This is only going to get worse for you.
If I'm on call, I have to be available by phone, and then you like check your phone if there's a notification because it could be someone asking for help, which would ruin the whole thing.
I definitely
Sure.
do think that you have a reason to look at your phone pretty much at all times because of the job.
Right.
But let's say you check your phone thinking it's something like that, but really it's like confirm your hair appointment for tomorrow.
A
Click
hair
yes back.
appointment?
Holy shit, Mikey.
You couldn't let that wait the 30 seconds until you finished.
What'd your mom say?
Oh, that's so mean. I don't make jokes like that to you.
Yes, you do. There is documented evidence of you doing exactly that
I
to
don't
me.
believe that. That's never happened.
Mikey, I need to know. Was it foreplay? Was it mid, after foreplay? Like,
Were
what
you
is- 'cause
BD? Were you balls
If
deep?
I pick the phone up and I have it this close to me, typing a Y ain't gonna slow down anything, is all I'm saying.
This is how I know Mikey was on bottom, right there. That whole vibe, yeah, I get it. Mikey was
You have
having
to be.
sex. She was doing work.
Can I tell you that I kicked someone for doing that once? Because I was afraid they were going to photograph me because they had a phone.
Oh.
Yeah, that's fair, Paige.
Wow, the person I was with should have thought about that.
What? Yeah, that's her responsibility. The woman who is 100% sexing on you.
I think it was a relationship. So, like, it was a very comfortable, we were very
Okay.
comfortable in intimate settings where I was like, oh, my phone. And then I was like, okay, let's go.
Mine had not gotten to the sex portion yet. It was early making out things
Sure,
or whatever.
yeah.
And a phone came out and I was like, get the fuck out. Like, bye. Fully kicked the guy.
Hold on, I gotta feed my farm in Farmville. I gotta water the plants.
Oh.
Do you guys remember that? Do you guys remember that? Like back in the day? Like
No, I don't
2000?
remember stopping to have sex so I could feed the plants in Farmville.
I would never.
I hated
That's
Farmville because I always got like
insane.
millions of invites.
Yeah, same, Todd. Same.
That long ago, I did not have relations.
Actually, I wasn't having sex back then either.
Yeah, I would have checked my phone.
Mikey, the only time I've ever checked my phone during sex was during doggy, so she never found out. It's fine.
Oh, she couldn't see over your head?
Your mom's into pegging. What can I say?
This episode's got a weird energy. I don't hate it.
Anyway, we get a montage of them doing various maintenance. This is also where Six Pack tells Bowden, they call her Bo for short, that she's got a nice pair, and he's like, oh yeah, what a pair, the Doc and Bex, and she's like, oh, I thought you were talking about my boobs, and he was like,
And then we get like a close up of them.
The whole scene is just her boobs. Yeah.
Very good boobs.
I mean, yeah, they were top shelf boobies for sure.
Most boobies are on the top shelf.
Heck yeah, they are.
Yeah, I was going to say, if the body is a series of shelves.
Your body's a series of shelves. I gave her the Dewey Dickimal system.
Oh, God, what is happening? I love it. That was amazing. I mean, we weren't talking about libraries, so like it's out of nowhere and there's no context for it, but it's still funny.
Bookshelves is a library
Bookshelves.
thing.
I'll allow it.
Anyway, we cut through them like fixing a rattle in the engine.
She's stacked.
Like you stack things on shelves?
No, like the stacks in a library.
It works on so many levels, or bookcases, if you will.
Fun fact, I made out with a librarian major once in college. There you
Everyone's made out in the stacks, Mikey. You're not special.
I made out with a librarian major.
Oh.
It was a person. She became a librarian after college.
Library sciences is which is, it seems like a lot of time to be like, where does this book go?
I'm sure they do other things, but I don't know what it is. Yeah,
for sure.
I'm sure there's stuff they have to learn. I just don't know what it is.
Like fighting local moms group from banning and burning the books in their library.
Oh my God.
True.
Yeah, I feel so bad for actual librarians. Like, thankless job.
I know. And they ended up having to fuck Mikey. Like, God, they can't catch a break.
Just one, and we didn't even have sex because
every librarian
I've had sex with
gets
every
to have
librarian.
sex with Mikey. It's part of their rumspringa. I don't know.
Rumspringer? The librarian Lumspringer. Unfortunately, I'll be right back. I'm going to go to the store. I'll be a late return, and then I won't come back.
Oh. Are you a librarian? Because I've been watching porn in public.
Do you know how I seduced her?
How?
I gave her those overdue looks.
She was like, that dude was checking me out, but like in a can you waive late fee kind of vibes. You know what I'm saying?
Anyway, we cut through the montage of them like maintaincing stuff.
Wait. During the montage, they definitely fixed that air conditioning vent that's totally made of styrofoam.
I was just about to say.
Oh yeah.
It looks like it's made. It looks like it's made of takeout containers.
It rocks so hard back and forth, and I was like, "That's what their oxygen's based out of."
Yeah, and he fixes it with gum.
This is the weirdest looking igloo cooler like air conditioning system I've ever seen in my life, or whatever.
We gotta upgrade this to a Yeti.
I would have more faith in it. It's not styrofoam at that point.
Yeah. Anyway, we also see that Williams, the other lady,
the one who went on
the exercise lady.
Yeah, the one who's always running around, right? Her name was Elizabeth Williams. Looking at IMDb right now.
Williams, thank you. She's checking all the suits, and this is where she finds the spider crab.
Yeah, jumps out at her, which I guess Six Pack planned because she's like that's part of her job, maybe.
Yeah, I think so.
Or maybe he was just fucking with anybody.
Yeah,
and it just happened to be her. Whatever, it doesn't matter.
I think it was her specifically.
Yeah, because it was a kind of her job or whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, then we cut to Bex, who's the geologist / captain.
Or Peter Weller, right? That's
Peter
Robocop. Yeah.
Robocop is having a conversation with Weyland-Yutani, and he's like, hey, what's with that fucking doctor who won't listen to anything I said? And the company is like, hey, he's actually like a brilliant physician that just killed a ton of people with a weird serum. So that's how we got him on the cheap. But, just say the word if he's a problem. And he's like, no, I think I can handle it. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't seem like he did it on purpose. Like, I don't think the doctor's like maliciously murdering kids, but
no, it's just negligent homicide.
Yeah, I mean, it's bad. It's real bad. But
I would say the movie goes on to portray him as someone who was brilliant and then maybe corporate tested something earlier than they should have or whatever. But
agree,
he is a brilliant medical mind, maybe.
Yes.
And that's why he is so distrustful of corporate later, where he's just like, oh no, they're going to nuke this shit from orbit,
They're definitely going to nuke it from orbit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
it's the only way to be sure.
I think that they are being taken somewhere to be shot. Like, they're going to be put down.
Yeah.
At the end of this movie.
Especially for punching her. She's like, load it with the dull bullets, if that's a thing.
They're all dull, aren't they? They're kind of rounded, you know?
I have no idea.
I thought she meant the dumb bullets.
He said dull.
I said dull. I meant dull, as in like it would take, you'd have to shoot you with more of them. I don't know. Anyway, back to this movie.
Please.
We get another kind of little dinner scene of them after they've kind of finished their chores. And they're just like, yeah, we're still hearing the rattling, but like, it's almost time for us to go home. You know, it's going to be fine. And then Six Pack is like, well, I'm going to retire to my bunk with paper pornography. That's how you know this movie is old. And he's got a boob mug sighting. I just like boob mugs.
He does have a boob. His whole bunk area is just boobs.
It's a lot of boobs. He's a boob man. And you know what? Go for him.
I get it.
But I do like that he looks up at the lady whose photos he has pasted across the ceiling of his bunk and just says, sit on my face. And then he reaches back and the sea spider is under his pillow. And he's like, ah! And falls out.
I guess she had crabs.
Well, if she's on Nick Lachey's new Under the Sea romance.
Les poussons. Anyway, he flips out because he can't take a prank even though he can dish them out. And he and Williams get assigned to sea duty the next day instead of having their day off.
Yes.
So we cut to the next day. They think they found some silver, and so they detonate. But as they do, Six Pack kind of tumbles down a little cliff into whatever below that they had not explored. They hadn't gone there yet.
Which is conservative 20 feet to the left of this whole station that they maybe should have looked. They're like,
Yeah.
a shipwreck?
Mikey, it is so close to where they are, and it's so not that much deeper than they are that it's almost offensive.
Yes.
That they wouldn't know what's down there.
Like, they didn't sonar I don't know how that shit works, but I do know that, like, they built a pretty fucking big thing right there, and they're walking around all the time.
Yeah.
He trips and falls into a Russian ship.
A forest of pool noodles. Yeah.
That's all those were. Those were pool noodles shaped as dicks, and you can't convince me otherwise. Because that's what she eventually, when she does go down where he fell.
She follows him because his comms go off. So she's like, I'm going after him. And they're like, all right, you have a certain amount of time. If you don't find him, come back and, we'll go out. So she goes down. She walks into the ship. It's getting down to the wire. They haven't heard from him. They can't find him. And boom, he shows up and he's got a box of what he thinks is treasure.
It looks like a safe, sort of.
Yeah. And they bring it inside. And everyone's kind of pissed because they're like, yo, we thought you were dead. We were suiting up to go out there. You almost fucked up everybody. Like, this is not cool.
Yeah.
He's like, have you ever heard of the Heart of the Ocean Diamond?
Our Lord and Savior Celine Dion done told me about it and instructed me to come down here because I shouldn't come back to her unless I'm a man.
You just combined every Celine Dion property I'm familiar with.
Well, most of them were just all from the movie we watched for Romancing the Pod last week.
Yeah.
Anyway, they open the safe, and what do they find? A video and then a bunch of files of deceased crew members. And they discover that the name of the ship is Leviathan and it's Russian, but it's not registered anywhere. In fact, allegedly, the Russian ship Leviathan is on duty in the Baltic, but this one is not that one, clearly.
Yeah, and they're not close to the Baltic, right? So, like,
Right.
it's not that. Or it is that, and they made up that record so no one is wondering what happened to that ship. Like,
Right.
clearly something is not right with that ship.
Right. And they find vodka.
Of course,
But
it's
the
Russian.
captain kind of confiscates it, right?
Yeah.
Now, and there is a flask that...
Six Pack steals. Yeah.
Right. But as the doctor is reading through all of the patient files and then watches the tape, it's their doctor who says, all of my infirmary is filled. They say it's like a tropical infection. We don't know what it is. The door opens behind him and then the video goes off. So at this point, the doctor's like, something is fucking up. This is not great.
But they don't have any idea what it is yet. It's just like something happened to them, and he's also like, I think they torpedoed the ship. If you look at it, it looks like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, they sunk the boat on purpose. Now, here's a question for you.
Okay.
Because at this point, we establish the vodka, and that potentially the vodka, we'll find out, is potentially tainted. Now, we know that Robocop pours out the bottle they found, but Six Pack has the flask, and that's how the infection kind of starts.
Yes, in the flask. Yeah.
Now, here's my question to you, because the movie, I think, is a little murky on this point.
Well, because it's so deep underwater.
Yeah, exactly. Is it A, something the Russians developed and dosed their own crew with, which is one of the theories that gets put out in this film, that it was in the vodka and that's how? Or is it like The Thing, where it's a thing that they discovered and it just infects, and then because the vodka was on the ship, it infects them, and so on and so forth?
I think it was in the vodka from Russia.
It's
like something they tested.
I think so too.
Okay, that's what I thought too.
The reason I think that is because they wouldn't have just discovered like a crashed alien ship,
Right.
Because it would have sunk, and they were a boat.
They were
not a submarine, right?
The reason I erred on the side of Russia is that it is still humanoid, and it seems designed to survive deep underwater.
Yeah.
Almost as if they engineered it to, like it's super soldier serum or something like that.
Yeah, it's more like CRISPR, if you're familiar with that technology, but like accelerated. Are you familiar with CRISPR?
Yeah, I love their treats.
Nope.
Rice CRISPR treats.
No, that's Crispix and Rude. That shit's amazing. CRISPR is like it's like a gene splicing like thing you can do.
Dr. Snap, Dr. Crackle, and
Dr.
Dr. Pop. Yeah, came up to it.
I think they're just PhDs though, Mikey. So like they're not official.
They would definitely be PhDs. Yeah.
But it's a way to edit genes, and it's just
Okay.
like it would not be this fast, obviously.
But you never
Sure.
take your jeans off.
Okay, I am wearing jeans currently.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Do you guys mind if I run to the restroom real quick?
Is it 1 or 2s, Mikey?
It's an unplanned evacuation.
Go for it. Run. Run.
Release the escape bubbles.
I'm leaving this in.
Ooh. I'm back.
Sounds like you dropped a trace.
Bro, it came out of the water.
That's happened to me
Just
before.
like the creature at the end. I filled it all up. I don't know what happened. We had a potluck at work today, and I guess I lost.
I don't think we need to talk about it.
As if a potluck is something to win or lose.
Well, Mikey lost. Well, should we shit back into the episode?
Yeah, hit some more plot points.
Plop, plop, plop. They steal Beck's personal records to get his social security number to get the vodka because he's locked it up. But of course, he has replaced it with water. Thank goodness. Otherwise, I think all of them would have been infected.
Yeah, exactly. Except for the boss.
Yeah. But Six Pack drinks from the flask, and Bo sees that he does it, so she meets up with him later to drink from that flask, and I think get busy with it.
Well, they both get infected. I also think they have sex.
Yeah.
So it only took him 88 days to convince her.
Oh, I don't think this is the first time they, quote, drank vodka. You know what I'm saying?
think so. I think this is their
I
first
think this
hookup.
was the first time, and she was just like, it's been 87 days.
Oh, you think she's like, okay, I just need a dick. I don't care really who it's attached to?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah.
Mikey, to find him on that day.
Hold on, my toilet's messed up.
Mikey, what did you do? This episode is falling apart. Paige is picking at her teeth. Mikey shit so much his toilet's broken. What is happening?
So we cut to Williams running around, and she meets up with Bex, who's trying to fix one of the bays where they go down in the water.
Yeah. Or as they call it, flush 'em.
Flush'ems.
Which is what Mikey just did.
I did.
He had to get the horrible creature that he birthed into the ocean.
That he won at the potluck.
He won at the potluck.
I lost the potluck.
That's not a thing to win or lose. Anyway, so there seems to be a kind of like a love connection between Williams and Robocop, and they're like, but they don't do anything. The next morning, Doc gets up, and Six Pack is like very ill and has a bunch of weird skin shit.
Yeah, they're like little lesions. Like his skin is like sloughing off of him.
Sloughing.
Yeah.
Ugh.
It's a good word, Mikey.
Yeah, they pull him off the crew for the day. Everyone else goes to work, including Robocop, to try and make the quota. even without six-pack. Meanwhile, the doctor takes blood samples and a skin sample, and he just keeps getting sicker and sicker and sicker and sicker.
Yeah.
So the doctor tests, and this is definitely the scene from The Thing where Wilford Brimley is like, click, click, click.
Yep.
Everyone will be infected in 3 years. And in this one, the computer's just like, unknown origin. And he's like, take a guess. And they're like, genetic alteration, question mark?
I did think it was wild that he asked the computer to take a guess, and the computer was like, oh, I can guess. That's something I'm definitely programmed to do.
I guess in 2027.
I was going to say it is sort of Chat GPT, which is like what we're dealing with now. So like, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, six-pack dies.
Yeah. Like quickly. I honestly thought they would dangle that carrot way longer than they did, but he dies like really early on.
Well, he's like the guy in Alien who gets the face hugger and then gets the chest burster. So like that's kind of his analog, right?
Yeah.
But Robocop comes back and the doctor's like, Robocop, thank God you're here. We need you to inspect this man so you can see him. And he's like, his skin's kind of fucked up, but not nearly as fucked up as you'd think.
It is gross, but it's not terrible.
He's like, look, it's bruised.
Yeah. But he's like, does anybody else have the symptoms? And he's like, I have to check everyone, but I don't want them to freak out. So we're not going to tell them six-pack is dead yet. So they kind of take somebody in one at a time, right? So De Jesus doesn't have it. Ernie Hudson doesn't have it. Williams doesn't have it. That's everybody, right?
No, Bowman, because Bowman is about to come in when he goes to have a call. Yeah. So you're getting there. Yeah.
Yeah. So Bowman comes in and she's clearly sick. She's coughing. She's not feeling well.
But while she comes in, the doctor leaves because he has to go hop on a call with corporate or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
So she goes in there. She's like more or less left alone in that med bay area.
Right. And corporate hasn't told anyone he's an android. No, I'm kidding. He's not. But I kept expecting that.
Yeah.
But so they're like, hey, corporate, it seems like there's a thing that altered a guy's genes and now he's dead. Should we like come to the surface?
Todd, do you get your genes altered?
What?
I sometimes get mine hemmed because I'm short.
Yeah, alterations.
Yeah, occasionally.
There's one among us, Mikey.
Oh.
How can we trust you?
We can't.
Is this a thing?
I get my genes altered too. Because gene alteration, like the monster in this movie.
I thought Mikey interrupted you to ask for like a tailor, like if I knew a tailor.
It's a pun, Todd.
No, I get it. I'm making fun of myself for not getting it, Mikey. Like, I thought you were just the world's biggest asshole.
No, why would I interrupt? I'd be like, do you alter your jeans, Todd, who famously wears jeans all the time? This toilet is still fucking running. Everything is breaking the same day. God dang it.
Jiggle the handle, Mikey. Jiggle the handle.
How big was that dump?
God, what did he deuce?
What do they serve at the potluck?
Hashtag what did he deuce, guys?
What did he deuce? Yeah, this potluck, we've got Jell-O salad and landmines. Oh, God damn it. How did I do this twice in one day?
Did you spill again?
Yes, and again.
Oh, my God. I feel like I am podcasting with whatever team the Harlem Globetrotters plays. Like, it's like a comedy of errors for everyone who's not me on this Zoom call.
Oh, hang on just a second. I'll be right back.
Mikey choked his toilet on his human shit, and you keep spilling stuff on your desk. And now I'm just sitting here alone, listeners.
I fixed it.
With more shit.
Fixed the whole thing.
With a casserole, oddly enough.
Now this is broken. God, I'm going to kill myself. This is it.
God. Mikey, now your headphones aren't working.
What is wrong with my life?
It's amateur hour, motherfuckers. What is happening?
We are falling apart.
I'm having a breakdown. Fix this whole thing. Hello. There we are.
Hell yeah, baby. Back in business.
Well, I just plumbered the toilet. I had to like go in there and like do stuff. The back.
I've never understood the word plumbered. Is that what it means? Does that anytime you open the back of your toilet, that's plumbered?
Yeah.
Usually it's an upper decker, but I guess you could go plumber.
Yeah, I think you're shitting in the wrong part of the toilet,
So
Mikey.
here's what. So my toilet has been messing up the last. This is like a really inside baseball type deal. It's been messing up the last like week or so.
Yeah.
And I went in there.
How many potlucks have you had?
It just won't. It's like been running, I guess. And then so like I had to like adjust the floaty thing. It was getting stuck on the edge. So I like twisted something.
Paige, these are technical terms. Floaty thing is known.
Chain, flappity flap.
I didn't apprentice in plumbery, okay?
It's a PhD in plumbery.
I know that I
PhD.
did my. I'm not a podiatrist.
God, I hate both of you so much. Get your shit together, you beautiful bastards.
Anyway, I think I fixed it.
Okay.
Which makes me feel good.
Fixing makes you feel good.
All right. 6-pack, dead.
6-pack, dead. Everyone else, tested. Bowen, contagious? ?
She's definitely sick.
Yeah. They go to talk to corporate. They leave her there. They haven't tested her yet. But she, while they're talking to corporate, is like, I'm going to go check on 6-pack because I was riding that dong and then he was sick and then I'm sick. So I think I caught chlamydia and maybe that means I won the show, Nick Lachey.
The show is to find out if you know who originally had the STD.
I think she knows at this point.
Did you find your perfect match?
I think she's right on both counts.
I think you mean perfect snatch.
Perfect snatch.
Hell
she goes
yeah.
into 6-pack and it doesn't officially say whether she realizes he's dead or not because multiple people are like, hey, 6-pack, you'll get better. And I was like, guys, he is very dead. There's a sheet covering him.
Yeah,
like,
Ernie Hudson doesn't know that. He thinks he's just asleep.
Yeah,
and, like,
the universal sign for dead. And they're just like, no.
But he moves. I understood why Ernie Hudson was like, oh, I'll let you sleep. I'm sorry. I mean,
right.
You're not wrong. He is in the most like dead you can look. You know?
Right.
Yeah. It never establishes these two of having like a close friendship the rest of the film. And then he comes in there, he's like, I just wanted you to know that today we really missed you while we worked outside. And even the boss went at his thing and did really good. And
we hit our quota
really
even without you.
Yeah.
Like,
we don't need you, 6-pack. Dear diary, today 6-pack was sick. Yeah. It's very, everyone's very seemingly like, but she comes in and his skin is like pulsing and whatever. And she reaches around her back, like on her neck, where I think she maybe has a sore or something that they haven't seen because her hair's been covering it.
I mean, she definitely knows she's sick. That's what leads her to do what she does.
Right. Which, here's the thing.
I get it.
Same. If I found out I might be the Thing, well, the Thing kills you. So anyway, but you know what I mean. If I had a chest burster, yeah.
I would probably, I don't know. It would be very hard for me to make that call. I would hate that.
Yeah.
But I would like to think that I would kill myself to save all of my friends.
Same. When the doctor is like jettison the escape pods, I was like, that's the right call.
Yeah. Unfortunately it is. But yeah, no, it is.
Hey, Vanessa.
Yeah. Hey, did I tell you I shit so bad my toilet doesn't work? Yeah, I know. But I'm the boss, so like I'm the boss of the toilet too.
Did you have Nancy's hamburger salad? Oh, you did? Have you been shitting your brains
hamburger salad? Is this like a 7-layer dip?
Have you never heard of hamburger salad, Paige?
No, tell me everything about hamburger salad.
It's literally just something I made up off the top of my head by throwing two words together that vaguely sound food related. I have no idea what I'm talking about, Paige.
It sounds like something that would go next to Mormon funeral potatoes or whatever. So Bowman, unfortunately, dies by suicide.
Yeah, she takes her life, I think, to protect her friends.
Yeah.
Although I do think it's sort of a moot point, but she doesn't know exactly what is going on. She just knows that her future is going to be one that includes death very soon and probably painfully.
This is the third woman after she slept with 6-pack that.
Oh, yikes.
6-pack should stop, hanging out at hospice. Hey, ladies, you want to come while you go? You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying?
I run a Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Merv does seem like that kind of dude, man.
I think for me, if I saw the way 6-pack went out and knew that that's what was going to happen to me, I might take this route too. Because I'm like, I don't want all my skin to slough off. Like, that sounds terrible.
Yeah. Have you ever had a really bad sunburn? It's awful.
Well, I mean, like chunks of skin and pus, and then you die 8 hours later. I'm just like,
it looks terrible. Yeah, I mean,
let's
I
not
understand.
do this.
No, man, fuck me up, fam. Turn me into a deep sea fish.
I want the head of an anglerfish, the dick of a hush puppy. Let's do this. Anyway, so after talking to corporate, they find Beau's body and they're like, oh shit, now we gotta tell people. So they kind of like have a meeting and they're like, hey, here's what's going on. We don't think it's contagious. None of you have it, but here's what happened. And now we're delayed 12 hours for pickup. And as they're having this conversation, they hear a crash. So they go to investigate. And in the infirmary, Beau and Six Pack are now like fused into like a thing style corpsicorn, like some sort of rat king of people.
I think this is the most blatant part of the Thing ripoff.
Yeah.
You know, this is what makes the Thing ripoff, in my mind, complete.
Yeah,
that
yeah,
it's just trying to like assimilate everyone into one massive creature.
Yeah.
Or kaiju, if you will.
Well, you see, we are gathered here today to attend the joining of this man and this woman.
This woman.
I mean, they did just consummate last night. So, like,
Yeah. And now a reading of First Corpse-Rinthians. Corpses are patient. Corpses are kind. Anyway, so they put it in a body bag because they're just like, how do you even explain to people what's going on, right? And Hector Elizondo is just like, union rules says you can't dispose of a body without authorization. And they're just like, back the fuck up.
Well,
we are
okay.
getting this shit off of the thing.
They're still alive. No, they're not.
Well, because they put it in like a big body bag that fits two people or whatever, and they have not given the rest of the crew context that they're like fused together in some amorphous
it's
blob that wants to kill them.
Basically.
Yes, right, exactly. So like they're like, well, it's moving. They're clearly still alive.
Oh my God, they're alive. Yeah.
So they try and open it like a bunch of idiots, but it's not their fault. They just don't know.
They are pretty dumb. I would have burned this body in the med bay pretty much immediately.
We have flamethrowers. Like they know, like they have the ability to do that.
Once the body is like moving or whatever and they fuse together, be like, we have to burn whatever this is.
Yes.
Yeah. The other thing that I think too, it's like, I want to go back and watch the original series of Star Trek and the original Star Trek movies. That's like my rewatch goal for the summer. And I know it's almost the end of summer, but whatever. But when they jettison Spock's body at the end of Wrath of Khan, I wanted something like that, where they were just like, we put him in a mail tube and now we're going to hoont them out of the ship. Like, that's
like pneumatic tube them out into the ocean? Yeah, hell yeah.
They're like, send it to the business part of Costco. Just like,
But no, all they're really trying to do was essentially what Mikey just did and flush them.
Yeah, just flush them. But as they kind of rip out of the body bag, it scratches Hector Elizondo, and then Bowman's face pushes through to be like, ah!
Well, and like it does bust out. Like it's clear that they're no longer two people. They have become one.
They went for Hector because what's more of a union than fusing your bodies together?
Fusing your bodies together?
Yeah. You think you're in a union? This
collective
is a union,
body
Hector.
bagging. We're in it together. But so they dump them down, but they catch one of the tentacles that is also a foot and chop it off as the little like hydraulic thing goes down. So now there's like a foot slug left on the ship, but they didn't see it.
And they don't get rid of it either.
They don't see it, Mikey. They don't see it.
How did they miss that?
They cut it off. They cut it off themselves.
I don't think they saw it get cut off. I think it got caught and the foot slug ends up there and they're like, well, good job, everybody. And they didn't check for foot slugs. And so they leave.
Thank God we resolved this mess.
Yeah.
But they didn't.
But they did not.
And it's an uncut foot slug.
Yeah.
It does seem to have a vulva on one end of it. That's for sure.
True.
And the other end, complaints. Know what I'm saying, Todd?
It's amazing you're single. I just don't get it.
It kind of reminded me, if you've ever been to like a fun kinky sex shop, sometimes they'll have like a silicone foot that has a vulva on the bottom. And you're like, what is this about?
I know what it's about, and I am not about it.
Podiatry. It's for podiatrists exclusively.
How are podiatrists supposed to learn, Paige?
Right. That's now they know where to suck. Anyway.
It's the man in the boat at the top, right?
Yeah. Gotta suck all the cancer out through the toes.
Oh my God. I hate both of you so much.
Do you want me to spill again? No. Okay. Anyway, so
I do the calculus of calluses.
Are you writing a Stephen Sondheim musical about a podiatrist? Like, what on earth is going on that made you think of that?
It was just a Rejected Together song.
It's called pseudoscience. You can do it too.
That's the beauty of pseudoscience.
It's more like pseudoscience.
Pseudoscience.
Anyway, back to this movie.
Thank you.
So Williams goes into the shower and takes all her clothes off and cries. And like, can you blame her? Of course not.
No. Well, because she walked in on seeing Bowman dead, right?
Well, she saw Bowman dead, but then also had to help them carry the
that's right.
fused body, all of it. Right?
Yeah. So she's like decontaminating herself.
Yeah, she's like, oh my God, slough the skin up, slough my skin into pieces. This is my shower fort. You know, like she's
shower fort. Hell
for
yeah.
protection. But Robocop and the doctor are like, okay, we got to go back to these videos and see what's up. So they watch the video of the sick bay in the other ship. And they're like, that skull is fucked up. Those hand bones are fucked up. That's not actually a human skeleton. I'm pretty sure they blew that ship up to kill whatever that thing is.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the leg slug hatches a tooth slug out of its vulva end.
You know the song, the leg slug hatches out a tooth slug.
So foot slug is on the loose and has birthed a tooth slug, and the tooth slug also on the loose. So the doctor and Robocop are just like, look, this is not good, and we have to call corporate. And the doctor's like, I'm sorry, do you think Weyland-Yutani doesn't already know about this and is planning to just like nuke us from orbit? And he's just like, I have to have hope. I was like, in a corporation? Why? Like, what are you doing? Like, Robocop, no. Quit being a bootlicker.
I know. It was terrible.
Terrible.
But, I mean, he is a cop, Paige, so that's like what they do. Yeah.
I know. He's just following orders or whatever. So, meanwhile, in the infirmary, something is gooping. It never comes back. It's not interesting, but there's goop. Anyway, everyone's packing and going through six-pack stuff, and they find the flask, and they're like, oh my God, we didn't drink the vodka because you replaced it with water, but if this had vodka in it, maybe the vodka poisoned everybody. And this is where the doctor's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure they were trying to make super soldiers for the underwater, and it failed, and this is what happened, right?
Yeah. I mean, it is essentially the Russian version of the Captain America serum, but gone wrong.
I know, with not nearly enough shoulders or abs or shirtless Chris Evans coming out of a pod.
This is the Super C serum, not the Super Soldier serum.
This is like the Red Skull serum.
I think it's just the super semen because it's for the ocean.
And the foot slug vulvas. Anyway, so meanwhile, everyone's dealing with the grief in their own way. So Williams is going to go run. De Jesus is working on a puzzle about Switzerland. And he's like, I'm going to go skiing. And you know what? I've been to Zurich and it's beautiful.
Well, he hasn't, and he's never going to go.
No. And Ernie Hudson is just like, you're fucking puzzle. You don't know what anything about Switzerland. And he's like, well, I'm going to go get something to eat and figure that shit out. And so he does. And then Ernie Hudson comes in with the puzzle. And he's like, I'm sorry about your puzzle.
I'm sorry, you're my best friend. Now that Six-Pack is dead.
Now that Six-Pack is dead. And I know a puzzle is kind of a lame activity. And Six-Pack was more of a banging bitches doing brews kind of guy. But like, I can puzzle. And he's like, okay, we'll come back and puzzle. And literally no sooner does Ernie Hudson leave that the slug that got birthed out of the foot slug with the vulva,
slug.
the tooth slug, comes up and tooths its way into De Jesus's chest. Instead of being a chest burster, it's like a chest like pusher inner. It's an
innie, not an outie.
It's an innie, not an outie.
Actually, there's a scientific name for that slug, and it's a kalima, because it goes inside the chest to get the heart. Yeah.
Yep. And Ernie Hudson sees this happening. He's like, oh God. And he's like, don't leave me. And he's like, I'm definitely leaving you.
He's like, I'll be right back.
Yeah.
I'll be right back. And closes the door. He's just like, we got to nuke that shit.
I'm not done cleaning up your puzzle.
No. He runs and goes and gets the doc. And there's like, at this point, I think there's multiple. There's like the tooth slug. And then I think there's other ones around because somebody gets into the infirmary. He breaks through. He takes the blood. And by the time the doc and everybody gets there, it's on the loose.
Yeah.
But this is where they all run to the bay where Williams has been running, the little dock thing, and they gear up. And this is where they all get their triangular chainsaws and one tree trimmer.
I love it. Well, and 2 flamethrowers.
And they're just like, it's on.
Yeah. Ernie and Robocop got them.
Which... Here's the thing, flamethrowers make sense in space, maybe, but do they make sense in a place that's mostly water? Not really.
Welding torches make sense in both places.
Yeah, welding torches
That's true, okay.
But this is not a welding torch.
Yeah, because this is like a flamethrower gun. It's not like something they jerry-rigged together.
It's not like Ripley taping those guns together. They're just like, these are pre-made.
Yeah. Well, there's that scene in Alien 1 where they all get like different kind of weapons. There's like, we got the taser or what. And you're like, oh, these guys are screwed.
These guys are fucked. I do love that this meets the 80s requirement of does every movie have a gear up montage?
Yeah.
Because this is definitely it.
It is. So they've got the chainsaws. Out of nowhere, up from the grates below, a tentacle comes up to try and drag Hector Elizondo away. And even though it's sexy, they chainsaw it to death.
You have on multiple occasions indicated that you're super into tentacle porn. So much so that I don't believe you when you say you're not.
It's my favorite recurring joke.
Yeah. Joke is in huge
I'm
quotes.
sure Paige hated it. She was like, oh, the foghorn slughorn.
No.
Oh, it's coming out of
it does have teeths. It's got little tiny teeths.
It's the one that looks like it's from Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eating Christmas, tentacle Christmas, teethy teeths. Anyway.
You just hear the want out of your voice.
So they theorize that it ate the blood and it's growing and that's kind of what it feeds off of. But my favorite is when Ernie Hudson's like, you say we got a Dracula on board? It's like, what? But also, side note, Undersea Dracula movie? Is that what that Demeter boat is about?
That trailer scared the shit out of me when I was watching Oppenheimer. I had to look away.
I haven't seen it yet. I'm going to have to watch it.
Oh my God. It looks like it. Well, I'm probably a bad judge because everything looks terrifying to me. But that definitely looks very scary.
It looks cool.
It looks like the premise is to tie it back to an episode, in Interview with a Vampire, when he talks about how they had to travel by ship, but the ship mysteriously got a disease and most people died. It's like that, but a movie. So like it's a vampire on the ship. No one knows who or where it is. And it is like slowly killing all of them off. That seems like the premise based on the trailer. And it looks scary as shit.
That's the name of the boat from the original Dracula novel and film that he takes from the... Yeah. So it's like a continuation of the 1920 movie or something. But it looks cool.
It looks well done, but it's scary as fuck.
Anyway, so at this point, the doctor's like, look, it's basically a deep sea fish, but part man, designed by the Russians. So I don't know how we kill it. Your guess is as good as mine.
Yeah.
And Ernie Hudson's like, you're making fun of me for saying Dracula after that's your explanation? Come on now.
But they're like, well, let's lure it to the place where we got rid of the other one and just flush it out again. So
yeah.
So they're using like a trail of blood and there's like skeletons that it's dragging around. It's real fucked up.
It's a lot of body horror. And the effects aren't nearly as good as The Thing, but they're not terrible for the 80s.
They're not terrible.
Yeah.
And at this point, the doc goes... Hector Elizondo's scratches. He's like, these really itch. And the doc walks over to look at them and he's like, oh, it's because they're healing. I'll change that dressing in just a second, but I gotta go. But he literally walks out and writes an email that's like, we're all fucking dead.
Yeah.
I'm jettisoning the emergency escape pods. Because don't come find us.
Yeah.
Let us die so that we do not contaminate the earth.
Which is the sad but right call.
That's how I used to sign my high school yearbook senior year.
Don't come find me. Don't let me infect the earth. Probability 3 years.
That's how quickly Mikey can spread throughout a population page.
Yeah.
Is my infectious laugh.
You do have a good laugh, Mikey.
So the doctor comes back just in time for Hector Elizondo to go full chest burster. And Williams runs, but the doc gets, it's implied, attacked by whatever pops out of Cobb.
Oh, did you not see it? Like his hand goes over to grab him.
Yeah, with the mouth.
And the mouth hand, like that was a cool effect, especially for like, it's not as good as The Thing, but like it was cool.
We all wished our hands had mouths every now and then, you know?
Well, I think it's a clear symptom of hand, foot, and mouth disease.
Yeah.
And that's easily cured. So the fact that they couldn't handle it, I don't know if he's much of a doctor.
This is what happens if you let it go too far. Yeah. If you let it get out of hand, if you will.
Exactly. Anyway, so Williams runs. She connects with Robocop and Ernie Hudson, and they all kind of cluster together, and they're just like, it's just the three of us now. It definitely got the doctor also. And we do see the doctor have like another chest burster.
Yeah. I mean, the doc is definitely dead. They're not wrong.
Yeah. No, super dead. But then they pull up the computer and they realize like, oh, he told them not to rescue us and to let us all die.
Well, because they see his email or whatever.
Yeah.
He's just like, hey, I doomed us all to certain death. Please don't come for us, you know? Mm-hmm. And this is when they they call corporate, and corporate is like clearly not giving them accurate, real information.
Right. And corporate is like, oh, we can't pick you up for 48 hours. And this is where she's like, I'm sure.
Quote.
Yeah, your bonus is coming this quarter.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and she's like, I know, I'm sorry you've been through hell. And this is where Ernie Hudson's like, we're still in hell. And you're like, that's right, Ernie Hudson.
I laughed out loud at that line. I was like, oh, this movie's good.
I don't know if it's good, but that line is fun.
Okay, this movie isn't good. It's way better than that.
Yeah.
But at this point, they're like, we're never going to survive 48 hours. Like, it is impossible. Like, it will kill us, right?
I mean, clearly, they're never going to survive unless we get away from Leviathan.
48 hours. Why don't we just wrap this movie up? I'm going to give you 10 minutes.
Yeah, because literally, there's about 22 minutes left in the movie at this point, and you're like, well, they're clearly not going to be here for 2 days.
Well, the next thing the alien does is like, I destroyed your oxygen supply. You're going to die in an hour.
Not quite yet. So before that happens, they decide to check their stock because one of them has stock in the company, and that's where they find out that they've already announced their deaths.
Okay. That is exactly how that unfolds. I don't think they just had the idea to, we're going to die. Let's check our stock numbers. I think they do that because they're like, I bet they are tanking right now because they've already announced our death. And that's exactly what has happened. Mm-hmm. They've announced that it was like some underwater mining accident and an explosion, whatever, they're dead, right?
Right. But this is where the tentacles destroy, essentially they destroy some of the pipes, which means that their compression is failing, right?
Yeah.
But they know that there's a locked off portion of the ship where their suits and everything are. They just have to get there. So we then literally have 10, 15 minutes of them running around the ship, trying to get away from the tentacles with the teefies. And they finally, Ernie Hudson has to like hold that door open, but they do get through and they get into their suits. But as they are, we see the first like bigger version of the monster, which has like the head of an anglerfish that's like punches through one of the suits. Like it's nuts. Wild. Yeah. And it has De Jesus's face in its belly that's just like, kill me. Don't let me be part of this anglerfish.
And we're like, stop your belly aching.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Because he is like talking to them, like, which is to me super horrifying. Like, that is horrifying.
Tell my mom that I died any other way.
Any other way than this. Open your mind, Quaid. Yeah, like, it's bad.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they all get out in their suits. They like use their tanks to propel themselves up. Then they take off the suits and float to the top because the bends aren't a thing. And their little base implodes as they float.
Yeah, I think the way they explain away the not getting the bends is like their futuristic suits that like maintain the pressure of like
whatever
the surface. I don't know. It's dumb because when they do get close enough to the top, they pop out of their suit and then they just like swim to the surface, which Paige, you're right. Like if you were down that low and didn't come up correctly, you would just die.
Yeah, they would just be like soup in those suits.
Yeah, I mean, because the air in your lungs would expand so much that you would like pop. Your lungs would pop. Like you would die.
Yeah. Anyway, they get up to the surface and who is there to greet them? But sharks! Oh my God, sharks!
Best part.
So the fact that Peter Weller even made it to the top blew my mind because he was next to the explosion.
Right.
So like, whatever.
Implosion, Todd, so it only went inward, not outward.
No, you see an explosion after the implosion, which I will grant you is dumb, but that's what we see. It's almost as dumb as when you see in G.I. Joe when they're like fighting under the ice.
The ice falling?
The ice falls down on them. I was like, this movie is dumb, but I loved it. Anyway, it's that dumb. But like when they all get to the surface and it's not over, you know what I'm saying? Like the movie is clearly continuing. You're expecting the creature to come back, but it's sharks. I was like, oh, that's a weird misdirect. But like, I understand why they did that. Like I get like that it's the final end of the movie scare, but then it's not because after the sharks just swim past them, the creature then attacks them.
Well, but also they've managed to pop off 2 flares during this time.
Yes.
Because helicopters are circling looking for them because the company had to pretend like they were doing a rescue effort.
Right.
So like the pretend rescue effort actually rescues them.
Yes. But like during that, they see the flare go up and then the monster attacks them and Ernie Hudson sacrifices himself.
Right. They do drag his body back, but
I think I would have loved if they got killed by the sharks at the end.
Oh, man, I would have laughed. I mean, at that point in the movie, I would have accepted any ending. Just because it's been so wild up to this point. Like, who gives a shit? Let's just have fun.
Yeah, so the helicopter brings them back to an aircraft carrier, and I would guess either brings Ernie Hudson to a hospital or a morgue, one of the two.
Either way, he's going to end up infecting everybody.
Everybody. You should do a sequel to this that starts with him in the morgue.
Yes.
But they get off, Robocop and Williams, and they walk, and the company lady is there, the corporate bitch, and she's like, you made it. No one believed me, but I never gave up. And Robocop just punches her in the face. And then Williams is like, how's your day? And he's like, a lot better.
It's way better.
And that's the movie.
So having seen the movie, having talked about the movie, and having tried to do an episode on this movie now 2 times, what did you guys think about Leviathan?
Classic. Instant classic.
It's great if you've already seen all the good alien movies and The Thing, and you're like, I need something like this that's not this exactly.
Yeah, I wish someone had made Aliens and The Thing, but comedies.
Right.
Those movies are like steak and potatoes, like a steakhouse meal. This is like, it's a steak and potatoes TV meal that you warm up in the microwave.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's not like your gourmet shit, but it'll get the job done in a pinch. I get it, Mikey. You're right.
And it comes with lots of gravy.
Yeah, I liked it. I really enjoyed this movie, but I do think largely because it does fit Mikey movie standards. It's way out there crazy, but everyone in the movie is taking everything seriously. So it's like fun to watch.
Yes.
I loved it.
Preach it.
So, Paige, do you have any cultivated fun facts for us?
I have some.
Well, here it is with your fun facts. Leviathan, fun facts.
So I already talked a little bit about Stan Winston and his team working on this movie. They did get to live in Rome for months during filming, and they all learned to scuba dive because they filmed a lot of the underwater stuff before the cast even got there. But part of this was because the director, Cosmatos, trusted Stan Winston to direct the second unit action sequences.
Oh, cool.
So they directed a lot of the creature shots and allotted a lot of time for them to be in Rome, scuba dive, and build what they needed to build. Even though they didn't have a huge budget, a lot of that money and time went to Stan Winston's crew, which is why for what this is, I think the effects are better than one would normally expect.
Yeah.
But also, as you may remember from our Aliens episode, or if you've watched the documentary on Aliens, sometimes when you have American crews and crews from other places, they don't always get along, or it's not always the best working relationship. So, as I mentioned, there were some language issues between the two crews, but also the crew drank tons of wine at lunch. And they tried to get other people to do too. And they're like, we're not allowed to drink while we're working. It's a safety thing. But the Italian crew didn't care. So they would drink. And eventually Stan Winston's crew kind of drank with them occasionally, once in a while. They said they'd sneak a little bit, but that was about it. But that just meant that like after lunch, it was a toss-up as to how well things would get filmed on this set because a lot of people were in the bag.
Wild. That seems dangerous, honestly.
Yeah. Now, for some of the underwater photography, because they did do some with divers, the diving crew was underwater for so long and at such a depth, they didn't realize there was a storm happening above them. And their boat that was their anchor was actually in danger of sinking during the storm.
Oh,
so they
shit.
actually swam, they came to the surface, they swam up, they saw what was happening, and they all had to get out of the water and back onto the boat to try and push it away from the rocks and hold it steady during the storm. It was kind of a smaller boat.
Sure.
But yeah, when Doc is analyzing the skin sample, the computer reports back the phrase of unknown origin. This is actually a nod to the director of this movie, George P. Cosmatos, and Peter Weller's other movie of unknown origin from 1983. Now, in designing the creature, they went through a series of marine life pictures and medical reference books and kind of combined human body parts and deep sea marine life, including the anglerfish. It is something never seen on film before, and Stan Winston collaborated with the director on that.
I mean, it does look wild. Like, it's out there.
It is crazy. Now, Very few things were actually shot underwater, with the exception of the divers before. Most of the scenes in the shack took place on a soundstage with one tank, and that tank was 130 feet by 270 feet, which is massive. That's a very big tank.
Yeah.
But they basically built the set on top of it so people could dive down then into that tank and film.
I guess that makes sense, but that's cool.
Yeah. Now, the scenes that couldn't be filmed in the tank were filmed in Malta, in the seas off the coast of Malta by Stan Winston and his crew. A more direct translation of the Latin quote that Doc says in this movie, natura non confundienda est, is nature is not to be confused.
Okay.
As opposed to nature is not to be toyed with or played with. And those are your fun facts.
Well, thank you for those fun facts, Paige. Let's talk a little bit about box office. So what do you think the production budget was for Leviathan in 1989?
$6 million.
Okay. Paige, what do you think?
I'm going to say 10 million.
All right. So I have seen two different numbers in two different places, and I'm going to go with the lower of the two because I think the lower of the two is still way too much. And the lower of the two is $21 million.
Wow. Okay.
Which would be about $51.6 million today, which I think is more expensive than this movie looks. But that's what the estimated budget is. So this movie came out on May 17th, 1989. It was number 2 the weekend it came out. It was beat by the number 1 movie, Fletch Lives, the sequel to the Chevy Chase movie Fletch. Number 2 was Leviathan. Number 3 was Lean on Me. Number 4 was The Rescuers. And number 5 was Rain Man. What do you think Leviathan made in its opening weekend?
I know I definitely saw Rescuers. That was what I was watching at this time. I think it maybe made 7 million.
Okay.
4.
Mikey, you're closer. It was just over $5 million. It was actually $5,029,000, so barely over $5 million. It was in the theaters for 4 weeks total. It was never again even in the top 5. So it fell from second to 6th in its second week and was only in for 4 weeks total. What do you think it made in its full domestic and honestly worldwide run?
18 million.
Okay.
14.
Mikey, you are closer. It was $15.3 million, which is less than the budget. And if you adjust that for inflation, that's $37.8 million today. Now, this movie's been out for a while. I'm sure it's made some in VHS sales, DVD sales, streaming rentals. I paid $5 today to buy this movie. And honestly, I'm so glad I did. But it's still making money, so I'm sure it's made money at this point. But it was a flop in theaters. But that's your box office. So, Mikey, do you want to hit him with that scary scale?
Yeah, scary scale. Here's a scale of 1 to 10. How scary we find the film today when we watched it. It's a scale of 1 to 10. One example is Ghostbusters, and 10 example is Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Paige.
I'm going to give this a 2.
Okay. Todd.
I'm going to give it a 2 as well, but for the body horror mainly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it a 3 because I jump scared twice, and I thought the body horror was cool.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's our scary scale.
Well, all right. So this week, you all made us watch Leviathan. What are you guys making us watch next week as we continue Under the Sea horror?
Underwater horror.
Or horror from the deep.
Next week, we are watching Deep Rising.
Okay. I've actually heard of Deep Rising.
This month has been just one of my favorites.
You like these movies, Mikey?
Jake is very excited about Deep Rising. He can't believe it's taken us this long to do it.
Deep Rising is an old favorite of mine.
Well, awesome. Well, your homework for next week is to watch Treat Williams and Juliana Margulies in Deep Rising and then check back for that episode. So, Mikey, do you have a review for us to read?
Let's find one.
Well, while you're finding one, let me tell them how they can have their review read on the podcast, and that's to leave us a 5-star text review, and we'll have Mikey read it for you. So, Mikey, whose review are you going to read this week?
D. Chi.
Well, what does D. Chi have to say?
My work spouse, title of review.
Okay.
As someone who does a fairly quiet and menial job, this podcast has become my best friend to listen to while I work.
Aw, that's so sweet.
They make the day go by faster than a good playlist and have me smiling into archive folders.
Hell
5
yeah.
stars.
Well, DC, thank you so much for that awesome 5-star review. And if you want to have Mikey read your 5-star review, leave us a 5-star review. So, guys, if you like this show but want to hear this power throuple on another movie review show about romance and romantic comedies, check out Romancing the Pod, where Mikey, Paige, and I break down and make fun of romantic movies. It's a lot of fun, guys. Check it out. If you want to follow us on social, please do. We are at Horror Virgin or online at horrorvirgin.com. If you want to follow us all individually, you can do that as well. Paige is at Paige Wesley on Twitter or Rampage Wesley everywhere else, including TikTok. Mikey is at mrandolph24 and I am at Todd J. Awesome. If you like the show so much and you want to help financially support it, please do by going to patreon.com/horrorvirgin, where you can get a lot of great levels and a lot of great stuff like bonus episodes, director's cut episodes where they're a little bit longer and you get them actually a day earlier than the regular feed drop. We do a lot of great things like listener requests and stuff like that. So guys, check out the Patreon and help support the show.
If you want to financially support me, but not Todd, just look me up on Venmo.
If you can't financially support the show, that's understandable. That's fine. But if you want to hang out with us on the daily, join the Facebook group at facebook.com/group/horrorvirgin. We also link it like once a week, so just find it there and join the awesome Facebook group. Literally, we're in there talking every day. It's awesome. And guys, we got a P.O. box. So if you want to send us some love letters or whatever you might send to a P.O. box, it's actually not a P.O. box. It's like a regular street address. It's pretty awesome. It's 6688 Nolensville Road, number 108-34, Brentwood, Tennessee 37027. So send us some stuff.
Yeah.
And if you want to check out our Twitch stream, we're at twitch.tv/Todd Awesome, where we will be playing horror video games. So if you have always wondered what it would be like to watch me get scared, you can now do that on Twitch while I play these horror games. It's twitch.tv/Todd Awesome, guys. Check it out. It's a lot of fun for you. Not a lot of fun for me. This episode was brought to you by Tia, and Tia's teenager is like driving her crazy. So how is Tia's teenager driving her crazy this week?
Well, she's got the head of an anglerfish, and so she's always turning the lights off.
Is she still a teenager?
Tia has been supporting us
I feel like
so
we've been
long
doing this.
that Tia's teenager may actually be a full-ass adult. And Tia, we appreciate you for the support. And hopefully you got your daughter acting right.
Yeah, and you can get her anglerfish head removed or something like that.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure there's a surgery you can do for that. This episode also brought to you by Jonathan. And Jonathan wants me to steal your screens and make you watch a video. So I'm going to do that right now. This video is one of my favorite epic rap battles of history. And that is between Sir Isaac Newton and Bill Nye, the science guy.
I really liked Marilyn Monroe versus Cleopatra. It's probably one of my favorite epic rap battles of history.
Honestly, a lot of them were really good.
Yeah, they were great.
I mean, I like how they got actual Weird Al to be Isaac Newton.
I also, the Stephen Hawking versus Einstein one is great as well.
Yeah. Weird Al's way better than this guy.
I've seen this guy do other stuff, though.
I know, but he's like going up against Weird Al, like a professional like musician.
But also, if you're bringing in a guest star like Weird Al, you're going to want them to win.
Yeah. I loved epic rap battles of history. Those things were great.
I understand why they don't do them anymore, because they wanted to be able to do other things, but yeah.
But they were great. Well, Jonathan, thank you so much for taking us back down memory lane with that one, because that one was great. And we also appreciate the support. We now return you to another episode of the Patreonicals.
Welcome back to Fairy Tale World. Here we are. In this episode, back at the Magic Castle, Queen Libby makes them go on a garden picnic.
Oh.
And Glenda the Good Witch, she conjures up tea sets for everybody, and that's going good. But wait a minute, a toad is there. What?
Not a toad? What? That's so weird.
But Weezy the Florida guy, of course, gets up, licks the toad, and he's like, what? That's how he's going to get high or whatever.
Wow.
Nice.
I mean, that's probably how you would get high in a fairy tale land.
Yeah. But then his girlfriend, Allie the mermaid, was like, don't lick that. That's disgusting. And he's like, I lick you and you're a mermaid. What's the difference?
She's a fish, not an amphibian?
I mean, there is a difference, rude.
He's from Florida. His public education was not great.
I mean, I'm from Tennessee. Our public education isn't great either.
That's probably better back in the 90s. You did good. You probably did good.
I did all right.
Anyway.
I mean, I'm a successful podcaster, so you know I had no other options.
Karun and Natasha, they're dancing with their new children. They have 14 children now who are blue.
They had 4 last episode. Now we're up to 14.
We did a time skip.
Oh, okay.
7 days.
Their gestation period is nuts. Like, that's so fast. That's 2 babies a day.
Yeah. So they're repopulating. It's great.
Yeah.
And River Moon, the evil witch, is like, hey, you got to kiss that frog if you want it to like be a prince or whatever. And so Madeline the Jester does 3 cartwheels, gets over to it and kisses it.
I love that their mode of transportation was cartwheel because they are a jester. I love that. That is a joke I have to call out because I didn't laugh at the time, but that shit's hilarious.
And so she kisses it with tongue, which is just weird.
Yeah, like they're at Chewy's. Like that's what you're supposed to do, right?
Mm-hmm. And it turns into another dragon.
Oh, okay.
And so the alarm sound, here we go. Isaac the Black Knight runs over, gets his ass beat.
That's what happens when you're the Black Knight.
Mm-hmm. Kate uses her psychic powers and is trying to hold it still, but it's like Professor X in the corner, just this is a visual joke, but you get it. He's holding his head and
Mikey, for sure.
Like he's trying to open Cerebro?
Yeah, 100%. Wes, Prince Charming, the handsome dude, dips Madeline over because she was so scared and kisses her.
Kisses her calm. She's freaking out. And
Yeah.
he's like,
He's
don't
like,
worry, I got you, damsel in
look upon
distress.
my handsomeness and you will be calm.
Did it work?
It worked. She calmed down. Driscoll and Jeremy with his Driscoll with his Iron Man suit and Jeremy with his laser eyes hit the dragon in its eyes and they pop.
It popped his brain like popcorn, Mikey.
Yeah, he definitely popped his brain and then Sunzi the Tin Man comes up and hits it with his axe. It's like, I did it. And everyone's like, shut up, Sunzi.
Okay, so the Tin Man, famously the new owner of Sexcalibur Bones-a-Lot, the sword that he pulled out of a stone last episode that clearly Mikey remembers because when he attacked the dragon, he used an axe. Did you guys hear that? Was that just me? Okay, sorry.
No, I heard it. I was a witness.
Okay.
And then a yell from across the field. Sexcalibur is like, what did you do? You forgot me.
Oh, okay. I see. It's
so it wasn't you,
yeah.
Mikey. It was the character.
Yeah.
Okay.
You would already written this part of the story. Yeah, that makes sense. Clearly, you didn't forget.
Mm-hmm. And then the dragon is dead. Mr. Rage Bomb does fireworks in the air with his spirit fingers
to celebrate. Like the only thing Jubilee was good for in any of those cartoons.
Exactly. So then James Airy the Knight comes over and it's like, I'm still looking for the maiden in distress. Queen Libby, where is she? Where is Vixen Avery? And they're like, Vixen Avery is unconscious like Sleeping Beauty.
Oh, okay.
But across the land of licorice or some shit like Candyland.
Well, I'm guessing we'll find out more about...
Well, hold on, I'm not done yet.
Sorry.
So then James Avery goes into Jay's pack.
Oh, yeah.
And he pulls out cake and he's like, I guess this is what's deserted this tea party. And then they all laugh and it's the end of the episode.
No notes on that stinger of an ending. I guess we'll have to wait till next week to find out what happens in the, Candyland allegory on another episode of the Patreonicals.
That's going to be it for us, you guys. I'm Paige.
I'm Mikey.
And I'm your horror virgin, Todd.
Keep it ookie spooky.
Yeah.
Have an amazing week.
Bye. This movie was way better than Deep Star 6, Mikey nerds.